All right, we'll start slowly. So I have my blue pencil as usually. So what I was thinking that, of course, the palette knife, we get all kind of abstract. And then, oh, it is Привет. Hi, you're there.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
We're joining both of us today.
Oh, cool. Mom and daughter painting together. Very nice. All right, so as I was saying, yes, with the palette knife, all these parts are very abstract. So it's kind of good to focus on this middle part, make it a little bit more maybe detailed. Then we will kind of have the middle road between two all messy abstract. And the leaves, I was really fighting. So you can easily invent your own leaves, or I'll also try maybe a second chance to correct. But we start then with the with choosing the where our flower is living. Then we are situating a little bit not in the center, a little bit moved to the right. And of course it doesn't have to be perfect circle. It's a little bit uneven. And then we have two circles more inside. And then again, it's a bit moved to the right. So the right side is less. And then one more inside. So, and what will be important when we will be already with paints, that we create these shadows. So in this reference picture, when you zoom it, then you can see it more, but it will be like, there will be also one space here. So you don't, maybe, it's not necessary to do this line now, but just to explain. So this part will be more in the shadow. Then this one will have, it will be lighter, but then still like left and right sides, they vary. So one goes with some shadow here inside because of this thickness. And then we will change the colors. So we will use like red for this part, and then lighter red and darker red. So, and what about all these sunflower petals? So of course, it's more kind of free sketching. But what it is, what the difference is, again, left and right side. On the left side, we can see where it's connecting. So we can see kind of this. So this middle part, we can see also a little bit behind the petals, And on the right side, it's kind of over, So we see the petals just coming from behind there. So this is a little difference that we also show, So and so there is kind of somewhere here on the bottom, there will be some point when the petals kind of stop showing on top, and they pass to behind. So free, it's also if you feel doing more abstract, so, or feel free to check with the reference picture. And maybe I'll share. I wasn't sure if I shared with Simona. All right. So, and then we can have, of course, some petals on top, and then we have some also behind that we can maybe mark in some positions. And then we can have maybe here some this. Also, so like here, also my mistake was, is remember, usually, it's kind of, they still look even. So maybe we try also break, to make one shorter, one maybe a little bit moved, and then also don't kind of, some part of them will be like going over the page. So here we see only like the start. So this is also to make all this composition. But then I'll tell you, like once we start with the paints, all our petals will grow bigger. So now I would paint them this size, but then with all the paint, the size will grow. So it will be less background than you are planning now. And I know Iris and Simona, I don't know if they got the palette knife. Yeah. It's also good actually do it with fingers. So you try, yeah, you can go with the palette knife, but maybe if the girl or if you find it hard, then I was also myself enjoying fingers. So yeah, take your time, spend on petals. I can. Then we can choose where the stem is living. Yeah. And then, yeah, the green part. So it can be also without leaves. Yeah, why not? Maybe it's could like anyway, the leaves could be added also later. Yeah, let's say we will do all the flower. We can do the green stem, and then decide. Maybe it's also right. Yeah, how you be feeling? Because somehow I was finding these green leaves and they wouldn't. Yeah, and then we also on the stem we will try to show the shadow. Yeah, so we see. Yeah, so it's always kind of sometimes, you know, you're combining the images. Let's say, yeah, I take this sunflower, but the leaves I would take, you know, from the other picture or yeah, the reference. They're always checking, yeah, the direction of the sun. So if I say, okay, the shadow is now left side, then also on the stem it's going to be on the left side. Yeah, because sometimes you can get into mistake and yeah. So the leaves are very sketchy now. Yeah, don't worry about them. And so. Ирис, как у вас получается?
Все хорошо.
Отлично. Какие краски у тебя желтого? Один желтый у тебя гуашь или у тебя две желтые, светлые и темные?
Один желтый.
Отлично, туда тебе надо будет пользоваться тоже белой краской, да? Будет у тебя один желтый светлее, один желтый темнее. So I was checking now with the girl of the paints because I think she's using gouache and I'm using acrylics today. Of course, like lemon, yes, lemon yellow is kind of the main one. Then the simple medium yellow, yeah, it's going like for some parts, and then we will create the darker one using red. Yeah, so kind of if you have orange, you can use directly orange, no problem. Yeah, or then just mix yellow with the. So in case, for example, if you have only one yellow, then what you do, you mix it with white, yes, and then you get this lighter yellow that we will do as like the first layer. And then again, we're going like similarly, yeah, light layer and then a bit darker, then some darker details. So generally, yes, yellow, red, yeah, and then we can get any tone of orange, and then also brown, yeah. Then it works also for the shadows. So also this main part, it's basically these three colors. Ирис, у вас есть эти ножички пластмассовые такой?
Да.
Да? Ой, молодцы.
Или много разных. Вот.
Ну, вы молодцы, да. Я свой ромбик у меня сломался, поэтому у меня такой прямой. Но я думаю, можете ромбиком, да? Будет, наверное, даже удобнее всего.
Для чего он нужен?
Мы будем рисовать. То есть начало будет вместо не кисточкой, а начало будет да, мы будем брать и вот так свободно накладывать первый слой, да, в таком этом. Если вдруг чувствуете, что им будет не так легко, можно и даже пальцем помогать. Но идея вот, мы просто растираем краску вот этим ножичком, да. Сейчас мы вместе все это делаем. Yeah, so guys, I quickly explained the movements of palette knife, because we have starters with a palette knife. Jules loves it, so she can probably give more tips than I am. So I'm putting yellow, so I'm preparing. Yeah, take your time if you need to finish sketch, no worries. And of course, for palette knife, we need kind of more paint. Yeah, it's when we use the brush.
Sorry, what Chris have you got there? Because me and Mo were just trying to get the paints together there.
Yeah, sorry. So where you left?
So what paints have you just put on the palette
yeah.
there?
So what we let's go again. I'll go this way. So we have lemon yellow as the first one to put. Then we have medium yellow. Yeah, so these typical two yellows that are in a set.
Mm-hmm.
You have only one yellow. Let's have, yeah. Then you use white to mix, and then you have lighter yellow, and you will have second tone of yellow. And then of course red. With red, we're gonna mix, yeah, some orange. If you have orange, feel free to use it, yeah, directly, and then some brown, yeah, for the shadows. So all this main part of the flower is basically this. Of course, you can use the chance to use also all these paints like ochre, yeah, and sienna. I mean, it's also usually, you know, we don't get much chance to use them, so they also can be somewhere in the middle, but it's kind of, yeah, if you have other yellows, like for example, I have one set of gold, yeah, so you can of course play depending what colors you have. But if you have minimum, then that's kind of minimum what we do. And so we will start with palette knife and this light yellow, yeah, so prepare kind of enough amount on your palette, yeah, because we know palette knife takes a lot of paint in itself, yeah. So I'll prepare also the second yellow, yeah, and then I have white. Let me show you. So I'm putting here, and then so I know already I'll probably need more yellow, yeah, but I mean in the process you of course can add more. Yeah, the red maybe not so much because red is strong, yeah, so mixing with and some brown, yeah, so this will be my first set to do the flower in itself, yeah. And so if you don't like palette knife, of course you go just with the brush. There is no I'll search later. Yeah, but I think the palette knife will get us, you know, for this creative, more free style. Yeah. So what you do when you have your palette knife, you kind of hold it, you know, you can kind of with the finger on top, so you control the way it touches the paper, and you just take some paint. So I took some paint on my palette knife, and then we can also see on the picture we have a bit more lighter flowers on the bottom side and a bit darker, yeah. So I can also, for example, put this lighter color more on the bottom, yeah. And there, no worries if the paint, yeah, is not going with the lines. That's exactly what we want when we use the palette knife. Yeah, it's kind of more free, yeah. And then later we will correct with some with the brush, yeah, the lines. So yeah. You can also, for example, do now with some spaces in between. Yeah, so for example, because with the palette knife, you kind of get nice line on one side. Yeah, so you can leave it to save, so it's dry for now. Yeah, I mean, so painting with a little bit space now in between. Yeah, and it's. So feel free to comment how you're going with the palette knife, if you need help, if it's working or not. Yeah, so. And yeah, so for the flowers on top, for the petals on top, then I can already plan, and let's say it has more darker yellow on top. So for example, I can plan only some parts of petals to have light yellow. Yeah, so like less. And yeah, you can also try, let's say, with the finger if you want. It's also kind of, actually I was doing, and it's not a problem at all. Yeah, it will have different strokes, of course. Yeah, that's why we like the palette knife. It has this special stroke that you can't really get with the brush. Yeah? So. Jules, you probably already have your own palette knife techniques, ways around.
Yeah, I'm just putting in some watercolor in the background.
Aha.
I'll do a bit of mixed media.
Yes.
So I thought I'll start with the light stuff first, and then I'll build up. Yeah, it's just otherwise it's going to get a bit difficult, I think, for me. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, that's nice. Look, already, getting to know your artist habits, and then
yeah,
that's why you do the background first. Yeah, in aquarelle, it's nice. So kind of prepare the paper. In general, it could also, for example, be a paper of color. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a
it
good
would be also
point,
a nice
actually.
experiment. And
yeah, it's made me think about using newspaper. Actually, that'd be quite a good thing to use, wouldn't it?
Newspaper is also actually a nice, fun way to paint. Yeah, it's also like maybe more kid style, when you just kind of have you crumble, the newspaper, and then you kind of use it to do some spots, and exactly this shape of newspaper is also. But painting on top, it could be also maybe weak, so should be careful, or maybe depending newspapers, because the paper pretty thin, so, but could be nice. Yeah, so I did this layer, I did less light yellow on top, and then here in the middle, and more. And then the second step you can choose, if you feel good with the palette knife, then the second layer can be again with palette knife. We will do this second orange, so it can be actually directly this medium yellow from the tube, so not necessary to do a lot of mixing. It's because we will need more paint, and then you have to mix, and not always you get the exact mix. It's almost always very hard to. So in this case, it's very good to use just direct color. In this case, it's also not really necessary to wash the palette knife, because we are kind of grading in the same tone. But if you would go to other color, then of course we would wash the palette knife and wipe out with napkins, and then go on, just like a clean brush. So then I'm going in the yellow, and then I'm also, so it's kind of good moment, it's kind of halfway dry, halfway wet, the acrylics. So then I can get, so some lines will be nicely and some will start mixing with the initial yellow. And of course, you kind of try to follow the shape of petals. Yeah, and you see where you want a bit more, a bit less. And also, no worries if it's kind of leaving some white spaces. Yeah, it could be more interesting. So this is really, palette knife can help get away from this realistic photo that I'm suffering myself, that when I paint somehow, I tell myself, no, I'll do it more the other way, but I tend to really to do it. So palette knife is really, it's not letting you to. And here also we, for example, can take a look and we see that the darker side is kind of also on one side. Yeah, so we choose, for example, the lighter yellow more on top and the darker yellow more on the bottom. And then we also do these lines, yeah. So kind of we choose one direction of the shadow and then we would follow. Yeah, and or of course it can be a petal there behind. So it's really all this. Yeah, and then also can enjoy the palette knife, feel it when you touch a bit more, less on the paper. Yeah. So when I have a lot of paint on the start, then I'm kind of going lightly, yeah, almost like moving my palette knife in the air. And when I already feel there is no much paint left, then I kind of press it with finger, and I can also get some interesting shapes and lines. Yeah, so we remember also what we did with the petals, yeah, that one side is going a bit more on top. So there we can kind of create a bit more triangle shapes, yeah, in the end. And on the right side, they're kind of ending more behind. Yeah, so. So actually, I haven't used white in this this painting, yeah. But as I said, if you're lacking the difference in yellow, then this is the way you can do. Yeah. And then later, for example, even for the petals can grow bigger. Yeah, so this is kind of we start shaping them, but once we will be getting more paint, yeah, it will be that some petals could get dark. So it will be also very like careful now when we start going more to orange, yeah, and doing some of these spaces in between. Don't orange too much, yeah, because otherwise, just in the end, you will have to go over with some light yellow again, yeah, to go back with this more brightness, yeah. So all right, yeah. So yeah, but the main thing, of course, is try to enjoy this kind of messy process of. Yeah. So you kind of plan where you want your lines to be, but the palette knife also does its job on itself. So it's, oh, here it is. All right, before moving then to orange parts of petals, let's do the some basic layer of the middle, yeah. So then we already get rid of white space, yeah. So if you have this kind of ochre or sienna, yeah, this could be good. If you have, of course, standard like 6-color set or something, then what you do, you mix brown with the yellow, yeah, and then of course you need more yellow and a little drop of brown. So I'll try to mix it now on my palette to see, because if not everyone has it, yeah. And then it will be, so we are now trying to get the color of this of of this middle, yeah, and the one that's on the light. And then the darker one, we do it more, we work it, yeah, with different layers on top and top. So, yeah, but really little brown, yeah, you would feel. So I have much more yellow. And then I have, and here you can use already brush. It can also go like as a difference, yeah. So we have all these palette knife strokes, and then the middle we can go a bit more, yeah, more plain, more calm, yeah. And yeah, so this is kind of light brown color. So it's a mixed yellow with a little drop of brown, yeah. And this is also the part where you can work a little bit on these connections of petals, yeah. So once you go on the left side, you kind of go behind the petals a little bit, yeah. So you show this middle part, it's living there behind, yeah. And so don't worry about, so I'm working now more carefully on the right side, yeah, of the center, because it's like this one, it's more clear, yeah. So it's maybe even we'll have just this one layer, yeah, this one color. And the part of shadow, then of course it will be more yeah, the color looks even like kind of gold, you know, something. So it is. Of course, I can go and color all this middle part, yeah, with this layer, and then just later I will go on top of darker brown. Yeah. And it depends also how you like to paint, because already when you're more sure about the colors you will be using, then of course you can leave white spaces, yeah, and then go and there directly with the color, you know, yeah. But it's usually comes more with experience, with the, yeah. So when you already put the correct color exactly where it should be, yeah. But of course when you experiment in the start, then yeah, so I had this. I can, for example, maybe already at once go a bit more darker brown on the left side, yeah. So it's not looking the opposite, yeah. So, and also here, so be careful, yeah. We'll leave this little space a bit lighter, so it's like really lined. It can be also made a bit later, yeah. But still, if you're going now with dark brown, it's like front side, yeah. So what I'm doing now with brown is the side of this center part, and it will have like this front part, yeah, that is flat. So it's also nice to show it. Yeah. So I got too much water, so it's also controlling the water. Yeah, if you get too much, it gets more transparent. It's also, I mean, not bad. We all know depends on the. And what I can do now, when I'm working with the brown, I can at once, like to create this, the blending part will be made in dots. Yeah, so it's when you go with your brush kind of vertically. Yeah, so and if your brush is fluffy, old, the better it is. And then I kind of vertically, yeah, create these points. And this will be my blending part from shadow part to light part. Yeah. So. Yeah, so it's kind of, and it's also because, of course, we know sunflower has all these dots. Yeah, so it's kind of this, the mix of, yeah. You can at once do a little bit shadow here on this light border. You can also, for example, work if you see one brush is not doing the dots you like, then maybe the other brush do, yeah. So, and then of course the brush should be more dry, yeah. It's kind of this dry technique, yeah. Because of the water, then it will be all just watery. You won't get the dots in itself. Yeah? So, all right. Yeah. And so I suggest we go with red inside, yeah. So we also, I mean, yeah, I suggest to do these dots, but it's also dangerous, you know, to start getting into details before we kind of really have the basic story finished, yeah. So so we go for red, and yeah, then we see that one part is a bit lighter than, yeah, in this case the left side is a bit lighter because of this depth, it's kind of a more shadow, yeah, on the kind of a falling shadow, yeah, from the other side. So this kind of stories, like when you choose which side is lighter or darker, it's purely nature, yeah. So you observe the object, and so in our case, of course, it's picture, but if you're out in nature living, painting, then yeah. So then I create a bit lighter, yeah. And if you're not sure, it's always safe to stay on with lighter tone first, yeah. So maybe it's a bit more orange, then later you can say, I want it a bit darker, yeah, a bit more brown. So yeah, but of course, no worries, because both gouache and acrylics we can go over, yeah. When it's dry, just put the color we need. So yeah, so we will spend now a bit more time in this detailing this middle part. And yeah, once we're happy, then we can move again a bit more freestyle of all the rest, yeah. And this part also I'll make a bit more darker, yeah. So this front part that I was talking about, yeah. So I mean, it's not so light as it is now on my painting, yeah. So remember I was telling you, when you look at something and something is jumping out, yeah. So this, my yellow line is totally jumping out at the moment, yeah. So but my aim is to have it lighter than the shadow, yeah, but then it should be darker than these red parts, yeah. So, and generally, of course, you get it with layers, yeah. You put one color and then you see how it's how it looks, yeah. So you can also manage a bit more darkness with again doing these dots, yeah, because it also helps create this structure, and you kind of darken some parts, but with the so also these connections, they might look a little bit ugly at the moment, the ones I told you that, yeah, this middle, like petals going on top, yeah, sitting on top, yeah. But later when we go back to petals with orange, it will be corrected, yeah. So no worries about it at the moment. This little middle part, I remember I've created it using a little bit of green, yeah. So as we will need green anyway, yeah, if for those who go for leaves, yeah. But it's like really, so I'm taking again this light brown and a little drop of green, and yeah, just will create this a little bit kind of this feeling of, yeah. So if too much green, go back to light brown, yeah. So brown with yellow, yeah. And again, so this space is already small, so all you do, you kind of paint it with one with one color, yeah, as it is, and when it's dry, you just do this shadow, yeah, by the border, Yeah. So I've put also a bit too watery. Yeah. So this is how also you can, of course, correct. Yeah. If you're too dark, then a bit more water. And in the meantime, I can still work a little bit on my on the parts of. So I can go back to brown to work a little bit on these shadows. Yeah. Because these shadows, it's what will make it look 3D. Yeah, that's why we are doing all the objects we see. It's the game of light and shadow. Yeah, this is the way we see them. Yeah, so and again, yeah, one shadow can be a bit bigger, one smaller. Don't do the same size of shadow for. Yeah, so maybe here I can also, yeah, if it becomes maybe you got messy with too much brown and it's kind of not so clean. Yeah, I can, for example, go in pure red and create maybe some red spots here. Yeah, also as a connection part in between. Yeah, so you can play around, or maybe it's a bit more orange, and yeah, so depending how it's. Yeah, so also here maybe red. Now I see that I want it a little bit more dark. Yeah. Yeah, so again, I can make it a bit more dark with these dots. Yeah, so it will help me to save the first color that I put. So maybe it doesn't look so dark in the end. Yeah. So, yeah. And again, for example, if like the shadow part, maybe if it looks too brown, I can even go with directly to yellow. Yeah. And go with some yellow. But if it's too bright, I can also do with the finger a bit, like calm down. So I do some drops of yellow and they're too big. And then I can with my finger, I can lower them. Yeah, and then in general, it creates my shadow part lighter. But we remember not too light, yeah, so these drops are not jumping out. Yeah, so still when you sit back and look at your painting, then it should be the whole, yeah, so light part, dark part, and all the nuances that we're creating now inside the shadow, yeah, they shouldn't be lighter as the, yeah, still I'm a bit, I'll work a little bit. Yeah, so moment, sit back and yeah, how you feel. If you also feel, for example, tired, yeah, already from, it's like I'm creating a mess. Yeah, we can go now back to petals. Yeah, and then later you can come back to this part. Yeah, so also sometimes to take some rest from. And it's also once we create the rest of petals, this part can start looking better. Yeah, so this can also maybe be the case. Yeah, so. Yeah, don't forget, have your brush clean, yeah, if you want to go back to lighter color, especially. Yeah. Orange. All right, I will leave my middle part to rest because I'm also already a bit more overdoing, yeah, so also good to let it dry, yeah, and then it will be easier to correct and add some shadows. So now I will mix orange. I don't have orange, so I will go with the yellow and red, of course. Yeah, that's the best, the classic way. And then also, of course, how much red and how much yellow. Yeah, you can do both. So first we take more yellow, less red. We create some kind of lighter orange. And then the next stage could be when we want our orange to be darker. Yeah. So but you check with your colors what you did already for the petals. So this medium yellow, yeah, and how darker you want the next layer to be. All right. So go check, can go and checking back with this reference picture, yeah, to also have some inspiration feeling where some orange parts could live, yeah. But in general, they're living there in between them. So kind of the second layer of petals, yeah, on behind. So you can go but start really little, yeah. So at this point, I already have brush. I don't use palette knife because I want to have more control, and I don't want to get too orangey. Yeah, so go slowly. Yeah, you can add more. Yeah, but so first, like more starting, yeah, getting the feeling how this orange is looking. Yeah, if it's getting my petals too dark at once, yeah, and then so I'm using this also to kind of to cover the empty spaces I have left, yeah, and in general I'm going with this kind of next to the dark yellow, yeah. So I'm going a little bit on top, but still just kind of creating my petals a bit bigger. And here I can also correct this part that I told you, where the petals are joining the center, yeah. Then I can go with this orange there in between and kind of hide a little bit, yeah, if these parts are, these browns are got too big, yeah. So yeah, and again, maybe on top of the whole flower, we can get more orange, yeah. In this case, it's also sometimes good. So when I go in between the flowers, then I go with more dry, yeah. But I can also like dip my brush into the water, yeah, and have it, and then I can go a little bit like on top of light yellow in some parts, yeah. So kind of creating the transparent orangey layer somewhere. So no worries if, yeah, you get maybe too orangey and then you say, oh, my yellow is gone. It means then just later when it's dry, you will have like spend more this light color, yeah, to go on top. Yeah, so if you're maybe trying to be economic with your paints, then it's good not to lose your light yellow. Yeah, if you maybe the tube is already ending, and yeah, but if not, if you have enough, then you can go more free, and then later you just again with the palette knife, shoo, one more fat layer on top. So it will. I think we will also anyway do it because, yeah, if you do the background, and of course you kind of get messy. So Jules was, I think, very good. She prepared her background. But I was actually thinking, because when I did my background, I also entered this problem, yeah, because then of course you can't make it so perfect. But anyway, I decided to start on white because it also depends, like which background you go with. Yeah. So, for example, if I already did a pre-drawing, then I could already know and say, okay, this may be not this green, maybe, yeah. So I can choose the color. But as we know, it always depends, yeah, on the feeling, how you got your flower, And then you choose how you want your background to be, more light, more dark, more intense, more transparent. Yeah, so this is kind of the, yeah, that's why, for example, if we are working on some big painting, yeah, of course, we do all these sketches, yeah, that also go, I mean, not only in pencil, it goes also with pens. You create some little etude of the painting you're planning, yeah, to exactly get the color combination. And all right, I can go now with a little bit darker orange, yeah, so adding more red, yeah. And then still we have also some, yeah, some dark, like brown, purely brown. We can also do some, yeah, and still again, so I'm again using this darker red to bit cover these my brown parts that are sticking out. So kind of the, yeah. And here you can already go more kind of, again, more free and artistic, yeah, doing some touch up here and there, yeah. So at this moment, it's already not more, it's creating shape, it's kind of creating maybe these parts in between the flowers, yeah, this darker, that we will do a little bit also brown ones. But again, I'm trying to be careful not to spoil, not to put too much red, yeah. Still like this light orange, this light yellow that we put on first, it kind of should be the dominant, yeah, to create all this. And again, careful with putting, yeah, in between in every, yeah, I mean, of course, there is this darker part in between every petals, but don't make them too equal, yeah. So one bigger, one smaller, yeah. Now we will get with some brown in between also, yeah, somewhere a bit more or less, so it's all so our flower. You all can of course send, yeah, WhatsApp if you have doubts, yeah, you know it, yeah. If you don't have doubts, continue, but if you want to, if something is not going right, then I'm here to help. So I think I will move to darker brown, yeah, see how it will work. So I'll go with dry brush directly to the brown, so it's burnt umber in my case, yeah. Simple paints, just brown, and I will create kind of this more, so this dark part of the, yeah, because what else, yeah, so creates this effect is exactly this combination where the dark shadow leaves and where it meets the light, yeah. And when you study all these famous Rembrandt painting, he's like specialist in this. So I go in this bottom part, I want to make it darker, yeah. So later if I need, I can maybe even create a bit lighter at the top, yeah. But I end up going with these dots, yeah. So because we try also to get a little bit this texture of sunflower that it has seeds, yeah. Somewhere. Okay. Yes. So at the same time, you can kind of correct a little bit this, where the petal is kind of sitting on the flower. Now I feel I need to lighten a bit the upper part of the flower. All right, I'll go straight to yellow, yeah. And then I can, so fingers also working very good, yeah. Especially when you put something in the color, yeah, so you just kind of with your finger take off the part that is bothering you, that you think too much. So if in some point you feel it maybe too dotty, yeah, like I feel now about this medium part, I then with the brush, I just kind of correct, yeah, and can remove some dots. So when like we've done, yeah, this kind of part, we can sit back and feel the flower. So what kind of painting we want to express. I feel I would go a bit maybe bigger on my petals, yeah. And what can be also interesting that we create some parts kind of in the air, yeah, because as the painting it might create a bit more interesting style. So I'm thinking. So yeah, because it's tricky to go with background and I think maybe yes, I will leave it again for the end. So can do the green steam, yeah, to already have at least the feeling of that it's kind of standing, not just the sunflower head flying in the air. So again, you choose, so green usually comes this typical green. We always try to avoid using green directly as it comes from tube. Yeah, the other colors can, but the green, this is like also very typical. You can see some paintings and you see, okay, this is made people who are learning, yeah, because they use the green from tube. So it's mix it, for example, yeah, if you want it warmer, you mix it with yellow. Yeah, so then it becomes really light grass green. You can mix it with blue, we all know, and becomes a bit more this kind of ultramarine marine color. And it's also very nice to mix it with red. So you remember that red is opposite color of green, and the color then becomes more gray. Yeah, it's not so bright anymore. Red makes the green like calm down. Yeah. What you can, as always, you can do, for example, stay on safe side. I can mix my green with yellow and I have then this light green. Yeah. In the end, maybe I will not have this light green anymore on my painting. Yeah. But it will kind of helps me to decide. Yeah. So play a little bit with the part of light, yeah, and shadow. So, all right, I'll do some touch-ups of leaves. Yeah, I'm still really unsure about these leaves. Maybe let's see if you guys have interesting solution. Yeah, how to, because we have, of course, like flower takes all the page. So maybe, so I was trying to create just the feeling, yeah, that there are leaves. So maybe not even painting them, but just kind of marking some. So just marking the presence of yeah. So and I go light, so I'm kind of playing now. Yeah, because then later I can go on top with darker green, and then yeah, but especially when I'm not maybe sure yet of the shape of the darkness, yeah, and I can do some, so it's pretty much watery, yeah, at the moment. So to experiment, try have your green and mix it on some side with a little bit of red, yeah. You will see this tone, it's already like going more to brown, yeah. And can do maybe some touch-ups to see how it looks on your paper. Yeah, but very little, yeah, because it's dark, so it's more just yeah, you can play to create some you know, like contour lines maybe also. Yeah, so. Let's see, if the lines, maybe you're not happy with lines, you always have time to put your brush in water and kind of take the line off. Yeah, so. Yeah, so I'm still a bit experimenting with the leaf. Yeah, maybe putting a little bit darker green on some parts. Yeah, but what's the best solution for these things that you're really not sure how to draw, how to paint? Yeah, you did all nice one part. So in general, it's better than not to draw at all. Yeah, it's always better to tell less in the painting than to tell more. Yes, because if you won't get it right, then yeah, everyone will see it. But if you just don't paint it, don't tell, then yeah, it's. So I will suggest we go also with the background a little bit in similar way. So very transparent light, yeah. It's also because then later we go a bit more bigger with yellow on the petals, and it won't then kind of turn dark. Yeah, I had it in this painting that is pre-done, yeah, because my background is very dark. And later when I was going on top with yellow, of course, yellow was dark, yeah, and then I wasn't really getting this brightness feeling. Yeah? So what you can also do, yeah, so if you, for example, already see that some petals you want to be bigger, yes, then you can go already now and create it bigger, yes, before the background. So if there are some spaces you say, okay, I want here my petal go white, yeah, can do it now, yeah, to kind of already save the space. And then I said it can be also kind of in the air, yeah, so I'm doing some maybe paint drops, yeah, and I take again the palette knife, yeah, because it helps me to create these lines, yeah, so. Yeah, so maybe somewhere where you have space in between the petals, there you can create kind of spots. Yeah. So we can, so each can decide yeah, which background you want, yeah, which one you like. Of course, I like go and spend my money in the painting shop, so I have kind of lots of tones of, yeah, emerald green and turquoise blue, and yeah, so all kind of stuff. So I'll go with lighter than in this painting. Yes, because I always try to, I mean, once I did one, then I'll experiment, and you can also see how it turns different. So I'll go with light blue, like sky celestial blue. Yeah. Sometimes it comes ready, or you just mix it with white. Yeah. And what I did also in this case, on this pre-painting, I did it the background, and then later I went with palette knife. Remember this technique? Just with pure white on top, and it was also creating good lines, like a bit marmor type. And yeah. So I take a little drop of blue. Yes, we all know that if we want to create sky, this light blue of sky, it's a bunch of white and very little blue. Yeah. And that's what we'll do. So it's also, yeah, to make it darker. There is no problem, make it darker later. So maybe. So, yeah, like no rush. Also take time to mix your paints, yeah, till the color you want. So, and if you are, you know, not getting right the proportions, and you mixed, the blue is still too dark, what I do, I then, with the paint that I have on my brush, I go back, you know, take a pile of white and just mix with the amount of paint that I have on my brush. And it's usually kind of, yeah, enough to create the lighter tone that I'm looking for. So, or like you can, of course, also clean your brush. Yeah, so, all right, I'm going with a very light pastel blue, yeah. I'm going with brush, yeah, to both to make it a bit more plain, yeah, because we know that with the palette knife, it creates also kind of the shapes the surface, yeah. But it's with acrylics, yeah. So gouache will always stay plain on the paper. It will never create this kind of oily, yeah, parts. Yeah, so I'm putting my very light blue. Later, yeah, I can go and do some touch-ups with darker blue somewhere. Yeah. But again, we are putting now kind of base. Yeah. Here, where I have my leaves, yeah, I can go a little bit more also with the blue on top, kind of just hiding them, creating more. Yeah. I'm trying still to solve the leaves issue. So, yeah, I think when I was doing the pencil drawing for this sunflower, like the sunflower itself, yeah, it took me 5 minutes. And I was like maybe 20 minutes fighting with the leaves in the end. Yeah, they didn't turn up nothing still, so sometimes it happens. So putting light blue there in between, yeah, and then we will see how it looks. We could, what you can also later do, so now I had the idea that, so we put now the base light blue, and then we go with a bit darker, and you can go also a little bit in between the petals with this darker blue. I will try it, yeah, and then before you spoil your painting. So the idea is that maybe it will create more air, yeah, like some space. Of course, in the photograph, it's not like this, but we will try it as a technique to create the air. Let's see. In the end, painting is all about experimenting, isn't it? And sometimes experiments work well, sometimes not. Yeah? So some paintings end up on the wall, or friends say, "Oh, I want this painting." I know Jules is staying always without her paintings. You guys all being very quiet today. No one is talking to me. I feel like
Concentration, that's why.
oh, okay, that's a very good point. And I take my words back. Yeah, but
I've gone very, very thick. What I've done is with, like you were saying with your stem, is that I've created loads of foliage at the bottom, so it's quite thick,
Mm-hmm.
and then brought it out each side, so the head doesn't look like it's going to fall over. I think that's what mine looked like. It was just a lollipop. So I've changed that. Yeah.
Right. I tried to imagine it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute. I'll send you a photo.
Yeah, let's- So wait, while Jules is sending, what? So for example, I would go in the painting before. I went with dark brown. Yeah, again here in between some petals. Yeah, but now I had this idea of blue, so I will try this. Yeah, then we can compare also both drawings. So yeah, still I have my like sunflower more in light colors. Yeah, so I want to get some shadow lines in between. Yeah, so maybe brown is safer side, but I'll go with a little bit somewhere. Let's see, maybe it will, yeah, maybe it won't be so dark and could be interesting. And some, yeah, I think I like it. Yeah, so so this is what usually, yeah, when you mix the blue, first you mix it still not so light as you want for sky, and then you leave this pile on your palette and you use it then, yeah, so.
Right, you've got to remember is that it's still got masking tape around this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite dark in here.
All right, let's take a look. Ooh, oh, I feel sorry if the masking tape will go because it will take some part of.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Ooh, nice smell. All right, so.
There's Art Deco to that as well. It looks like it's, yeah, Art Deco. I like that.
Cool. So yeah, Mel, I really have like no much. So maybe like these brown parts, yeah. If you feel maybe some of them can go a bit maybe longer, yeah. So for example, these parts I feel here on top they're a bit too equal, yeah. It's like a roll, so just maybe one longer, yeah, or like, and the other keep the way it is, and but very nice colors. So and the rest, yeah. Like either you can leave it as it is or you can experiment, yeah, and get maybe some yellow like strokes or splashes, yeah, if you want, but it's like more different style. Cool, that's very nice. Like this, the middle part, yeah. Okay, let's go back to Jules. She was first. Yay, Jules, huh? So creative, yeah.
Cool. So
all the petals.
When it dries, because you can say in Russian to the little girl, I've used what she said last week. I've used the other end of the paintbrush for the middle. So the actual the base, like she was using this end. So I was like swirling.
The other end of the brush. Yes, yes, yes. Ирис, видишь, тут твоим методом уже пользуется. Другим концом кисточки в центре она сделала там такие места. I see Iris, I see her mom is doing work and Iris somewhere, but I'll comment her again.
Yeah, and so what I will do when that dries is on the left-hand side, go back with some white. But as you can see, it's a bit thick at the moment.
Yeah.
It needs to dry.
No, you always use like lots of paint, so your paper really have to be more like cardboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like 300. This when you buy the paper, it has this.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't planning. I was going to go delicate and not go as thick, to be honest, today. But then
you say it every time.
Yeah.
but still good one on the background. Yeah, you see, it's kind of nice white. Yeah, so it's, yeah,
Yes, what I did is
amazing job on the leaves. Yeah, here you go. Here is the creative solution.
yes, what I did is I'd use watercolor paint. So I wetted the page first of all, and then stuck it on. Then used tissue to blot it out. But yeah, it just needs to dry. Then I'll go back and put some more detail in. I think with the light parts and everything.
Cool.
At the moment, it looks sort of, well, apart from the brown and the orange, it looks quite the same.
No, but still love it. Very, very creative. The leaves part also, they have this dynamic, yeah, going up, and so yeah. So Darren, nice. Maybe this theme, yeah, if you want, can be a bit thicker, but I mean, not also necessary. Yeah. No, don't do it. I'm messing. Nice. Yeah. So like you and Mel, you both have like this. Like you either leave it as it is if you're happy, or you can get like messy and creative, you know, to like what I'm trying to experiment now with this blue spots. Yeah, so it's more creates kind of it's all a bit maybe cut out leaves and some space. So it's you choose. I mean, it's very nice. I love it. I love you both worked really nice in the middle. Yeah, so you have this 3D feeling, and then the petals. I mean, of course, one can work more and create more tones and shades and lines, to get them. But I feel that with the middle, it's also easier, to create this more real part. And then, because then with the leaves, you have to be too detailed. Yeah, it's like a little bit like with the rose. Yeah, you have to be patient to create these effects, and so this case we can do leaves like flying around, and all right. So I'm playing with my blue, kind of like it. I like it that it makes painting not dark, as with the maybe with the brown. So it's so. Yeah, so today is more I'm trying to work on myself to be more to learn the realness of jewels. So I think my best to play around, but somehow it's incredible. So like
it makes you feel a bit crazy.
Exactly, that's the correct word. And trying to brave from my photograph, and being more crazy. Yes. So we still have time. So if you guys want to join the craziness, feel free to go over your sunflowers with some, and also maybe. See also what works, because in the end you can always discover something, say and it can be some cool technique. So also, for example, I like if you covered some space with green or blue, then you just take a thick amount on your palette knife and put some nice and then I can go maybe a bit more dark somewhere here in between. All right, Mel is sending us something. Yes, Mel, I like it. You did them a bit kind of longer, so kind of a bit broke. So for example, in the bottom, you have, but the way they were, maybe not necessarily making them as long as the top ones, because still like it should be the difference, yeah, between left side and right side, yeah, between top and bottom. So a little bit this game, like with the middle, we did it, yeah, you did the shadow, the part is lighter, so the petals could also have it, yeah. So yeah, good, really good job on these dots on top. Looks very smooth. Sunflower in general is so like in itself, it's a very good thing to paint. It gets very happy and sunshine. Sima, tell us, are you fighting with your sunflower?
I am fighting indeed. So I have to finish my background, this blue color. So I think I will finish in 2 minutes.
Nice, nice. And where the iris went?
She tired.
Oh, she did okay. This Saturday, mom is doing the job.
You look so very excited. I don't remember what was my last time when I was painting. I think
well, I'm happy to hear it. The thing is also when you realize, oh, the 2 hours is gone, and this is also the effect, you know, that when you get inside it and you kind of just go and nice, very excited to see.
Iris, Zhenya, Iris wants to show you another.
Right. I'm doing my best to look in the cam. Вижу ирис. Так, я вижу дерево, да? So it's
Вдалеке тоже это осень с дождем, и люди идут домой.
Oh, so it's a rain and the people walking home. Oh, отлично, Ирис. Молодец, что рисуешь сама, и очень хорошо получается. No, it was also raining in Latvia. Отлично, Ирис, мне очень понравилось. Очень хорошие цвета подобраны. Ирис, а как твой подсолнух сегодня?
Скажи, тебе сложно.
Покажи, что получилось.
Но я не могу, он приклеен.
А, он приклеен. Ну, потом, да, пусть подсохнет. Это не так к спеху. Потом мама пришлет нам.
Вообще не рвет. Мне почти что не рвет, только тут чуть-чуть. Боже мой, как рвет. Ужасно.
Да, порвал.
Да, очень. Смотри.
То, что скотч рвет, нужно как бы очень либо медленно его отрывать, да, либо, как я советовала, сначала перед тем, как приклеить на бумагу, приклеить просто на стол, и потом оторвать и снова приклеить на бумагу, да, и потом в следующий раз другой скотч, он будет другого качества и, может быть, будет меньше рвать. У меня очень часто, да, я тоже с этим скотчем, да, то есть вот можно ими не пользоваться, да, можно, например, конечно, там крепить просто защепками к картонке, но именно вот когда у нас так много краски, конечно, хорошо, что это рамочка, и он так позволяет сделать рисунок таким законченным. Да. I was telling just now about the tape, yeah, because the girls, they're still fighting with the tape, ruining the paper when taking off. But I remember, Darren, you had some very, some tape that you were also advising to Jules. It was kind of maybe even not masking tape, but more, yeah, different, no?
Also, I find if you leave it to dry properly, it comes off better. That's my problem because it's so wet.
Yes.
I took it off and it's taken the paper with it. If you leave it to dry properly, it makes a lot of difference.
Yes.
I had that
Also,
I
amount
had
of
that from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get too excited and I want to take off the tape now, but I've got to leave it.
All right. So I'll also take off the tape. I think I like it more lightly as I have it now. And so also amount of paint, of course. Yeah. When you have like a lot of palette knife, then of course the tape is coming worse. Yeah. So. Oh, I see Darren. She sent us again. Yeah. Okay.
I've just done a few tiny little things, but I think I think if I do too much more, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah, wait, I'm trying to compare. It's like find the difference, find 10 differences.
It's just the differences which may not have come out very well on the camera film.
Oh yeah, but I don't feel it. Right, yeah.
Dark on the left, isn't it, more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just added
Yeah,
more sort of tone to the.
Oh, I see it now, yeah.
Right, I'm going to take a picture of this, but these to dry, and then I'll take the tape off, so it's not totally finished yet. It won't have the right colours until it dries, will it? Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so I have one lighter, one darker sunflower.
This works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, both. Yeah, sorry for the noises. I have a dog here. So, all right, Jules. I see now what you meant by putting white.
Yeah, so but it really needs to dry before I do anything else now.
Definitely.
And yeah, I think that might take for the rest of the day.
Cool, but I really love your leaves. Yeah, so it's a good creative solution. And
yeah, I was looking at Darren's photo, and because there's lots of sunflowers in there, and I just thought, right, okay, because mine just look, as I say, looked like a lollipop. I thought it was going to snap off.
Yeah,
the head's so big.
Yeah, so maybe like for you, Jules, if you say, yeah, I really want it to be the sunflower, then this middle part should be kind of more expressive, more dark, or
when it dries properly, then I can go back with a paintbrush. Because at the moment, if I start going in there, it's gonna, because it's so thick, it's gonna start mixing.
Yeah, because nothing to do, just wait till it dries.
Yeah, because the leaves are all dry and the background. But as you can imagine, all that sunflower is really wet. So yeah, can't really do anything else.
But still very creative as usual, Jules.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You're getting us out of the border. Yeah?
I don't know about that. I think I'm just going more crazy. But I've had some good news this week anyway. I've got a new job.
Oh, tell us. That's exciting.
Well, because I've been managing libraries and I'm getting bored. So I'm going to be working for Portsmouth University and I'm going to be teaching the police.
Wow, well, that's exciting, yeah.
I used to teach in a prison. Now I'm going to teach the police, so it's all their degrees and stuff.
Changing from one band to another.
Yeah, so going from criminals to actually the police now. But yeah, I've got to. My boss doesn't know
what exactly will you teach?
So it's supporting them. So they will do things on the community, crime, and I will support them when they do their essays. and everything else, and go to the police station and sit with them and read through their work and things like that. So
Yes.
yeah, so they get their degree, and hopefully give them some feedback, because I think there's a gap between the police and offenders, and I think it works both ways. I try to help offenders to understand the legal system. Now it's my turn to help the police to understand offenders.
Wow. Well, that sounds very, didn't even know there are these kind of jobs. Huh? So,
Yeah, now I was teaching in a prison for 4 prisons for 8 years. And helping them build their confidence up. So
I imagine
yeah,
this job should be very demanding. I mean, it's not.
it's demanding, but I really love it and I miss it. I miss it so much. I really hate not working in that environment. I hate it. So at the moment I'm surrounded by whingy old ladies.
Interesting.
So,
yeah. How?
Yeah, I haven't told work yet that I'm going to be leaving, but I've got to give 3 months notice yet, so I won't be leaving yet. There you go. So I've had good news this week.
But yeah, well, congrats on changes, you know. And
yeah, and that's the reason why I'm so crazy when it comes to painting. So I've got to be sensible all the time.
Yeah. Amazing.
Anyway, yeah, so thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jules, for joining.
Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I see you next week. Yeah, so Darren, if you get any good shooting, very welcome to send in. Yeah, so Simona, she sent us. I'll share it with the group. Okay, the second one, I think, or no?
I don't know, the both.
The both, yeah. Okay.
I have a second one, probably.
All right, let's take a look. So I've shared it with the group so they can also see it. And then let's... Ну, здорово. Да, прикольно, как бы это center. So the center is nice. Yeah, you've got this shadow inside the red. This one looks good. Yeah, maybe could be a bit more shadow on here on this bottom. Да, внизу вот этого кругляшка. Иначе получилась тут одна такая линия, вот эта коричневая. Она немножко так, ну вот просто когда смотришь, она так выбивается. То есть, ну, в принципе, я не знаю, Симон, ты, наверное, не рисуешь вообще. Очень здорово, yeah? I like the background, looks like clouds. Yeah.
It's good, really good.
I think it's the first experience, no, of Simona painting. So, great.
Well, okay, anyway, so take care and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, Jules.
Take
yeah,
care.
have a good weekend.
Bye.
Yeah, Darren.